Hello, my name's Tanya and this is my channel, Just Let Me Sew. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer, and welcome if you are new. Thank you very much for joining me. If you are new or perhaps haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. That would be wonderful to have you along. I will start today's video by saying what I'm wearing. So this is a Trudy turtleneck by Wardrobe by Me Patterns, and the fabric is from Textile Express. I bought the fabric a few years ago, so I don't think they have it in stock anymore. But they have at the moment actually got a 20% off sale on, and they're a lovely shop, so do pop along and have a look if you have got your eye on some fabric or fancy buying some more fabric. Cardigans are just a ready to wear cardigan, and I'm wearing my new sunshine jeans by I Am Patterns. I will insert some photos because I can't really show you them in this small space. But I will go on to talk about them now because I finished them a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't shared them on my channel yet, and I do actually really like them. There are lots of positives, some negatives, or rather things that I want to change for next time. But the positives, I really enjoyed actually doing all of the little details to jeans. There are quite a few details when you do jeans, things like the pockets. There are numerous pieces to make up pockets. You've got the pocket lining, the pocket facing, even a little coin pocket, which I think in future I would probably leave out. Coin pocket is, I can show you, where is it? It's on this side. This tiny little pocket here, which, I mean, I personally don't use for my coins. I would just put them in my wallet, my purse. So I'd probably leave that off, save myself a bit of time there. You've got belt loops as well. A lot of people are put off by making trousers by the zip fly, sorry, I couldn't even think of what it was called there, insertion, which can seem quite complicated, but I actually quite enjoyed it. I think if you just take it slowly, don't rush yourself or stress yourself out by it, it's quite interesting to see it all come together. And there are loads of YouTube tutorials out there if you did want to have a go at doing it, but you were a little bit nervous. I think in future for this pair of trousers, I might try Karina's tutorial from Lifting Pins and Needles, because what I don't like so much is how far over the zip is. So where the actual zip is there. I think in her tutorial, if I remember from watching it before, she sort of moves it in a little bit more so it's more hidden, which I'd like to give a go. So I really enjoyed doing those details. I also liked having the opportunity to line the pockets with a pretty cotton lawn fabric that I've had in my stash for a while. Sorry, that's my cat meowing. So I like that, and I'll insert a picture of that as well because that's a pretty fabric there. Things I didn't like, sorry, just looking down at my notes. I think in future I will size up. So some people had said that these jeans were quite roomy around the thighs and they had to take them in. But for me, it came out spot on. In fact, if anything, a little bit too snug. The pattern doesn't call for a stretch fabric, and this isn't a stretch fabric, it's just 100% denim. But they still feel a little bit too snug around the waist and the hips for me. I went on the finished garment measurements. Sorry, my cat just dug her claws into my thigh to jump up there. That's why I sort of winced a bit. Yeah, so I went on the finished garment measurements, and yeah, I don't think they really include that much ease, if that makes sense. So I would size up for the next pair. Yeah, so those are the only couple of things that I would change. Perhaps try a different fly insertion method and then size up for the next time. Right, so those are the jeans that I have made. The other big project that I've been working on is a jacket for my husband. So he has wanted me to make him something for a very long time, and I thought for Christmas it'd be a nice opportunity to make him something really nice. He loves cord fabric. He's got numerous cord trousers and he's got a couple of cord jackets. which kind of limited what I could make him, because I thought I don't want to make him another jacket that he's already got in a similar colour. So I looked in his wardrobe and saw the colour he didn't have, and he didn't have one in a dark green colour. He has one in a mustard that isn't lined, it's just a shirt. He has one in a rust colour that is lined with the Sherpa, and I talked about this in my previous videos. So I went for a dark green, and if I can just move my cat, I will show you. The fabric I got from First for Fabrics. So the outer fabric is this lovely dark green cord. A good weight to it, good quality, pleased with that. And then the lining is a fleece. I had thought about going for the cord fabrics you can find that already have the Sherpa incorporated into them, but I thought I wasn't too sure about that for the sleeves being too bulky, because he would be wearing this over jumpers, and also for the collar. So I decided not to go for that kind of fabric. And also, despite lots of wonderful suggestions from wonderful viewers out there, I couldn't find this particular colour in that fabric. There were other options, other colour options, but not this particular colour with that Sherpa. So I did my own thing and decided to just interline it with this fleece. So interlining is where you basically sew the two fabrics together as one when they are still cut out in the pattern pieces, and then you go from there treating them as one piece of fabric. So I did that just for the front piece and the back pieces. So the sleeves I lined just with polycotton in the same colour, which is also from First for Fabrics. My intention was to bind all of these seams, but my sewing machine and my overlocker just weren't very happy with this fabric. They found it really difficult to work with. I say they like they're people. They have their own personality, right? They do what they want to do sometimes. So what I did in the end was I just overlocked the two fabrics together. So where I'd interlined them, I just overlocked them together. I couldn't get binding through the machine. It just made a real mess of it, a real hash of it. So I just left it like that, and actually it looks fine. It looks fine like that. And then at the hem, I did actually fold up the two layers, but it doesn't seem bulky at all. It's fine. So you can see there's the overlocking there, if it wants to focus. And then I just stitched it down, folded it up an inch and stitched it down. What else can I say about this jacket? I added a label, which I love. It says good things take time. I can't remember where I got that label from. If I found it on Etsy. If I can find the name of the seller on Etsy, I will put it in the link below. It's a nice cotton label. So I sewed that in. If you do the interlining method with the Ilford jacket, I would recommend, sorry, did I say this is the Ilford jacket by Friday Pattern Company? I don't think I did. Sorry about that. If you do interline the fabric, you just need to think a few steps ahead. Don't just go ahead and follow the instructions on the pattern, because in this pattern, they have you insert or attach the pockets a little bit later on. If you're interlining it, you could do it that way, but then you will see the stitching of your pocket on the lining, which I didn't want. So I attached my pockets early on before I had done any of the interlining. So I gave him the top pocket, no flap, because I didn't want the extra bulk, so he can fit his phone in there or wallet. And then I did these little hand warmer pockets at the side. What I did get him to do was I blindfolded him and got him to try it on. And I found with these little pockets, the opening was actually quite small. So I've got really small hands anyway, but I thought for him that's going to be a little bit tight. And as it is, these aren't the biggest pockets ever. When I put my phone in it, the phone is kind of sticking out a little bit. So I would recommend you measure that for whatever you want to put in there. If you want your phone to go in there, just measure it. So to make it a little bit roomier for him, I did bar tacks here and then left that little bit open there as a flap, and at the bottom as well. So I did a little bar tack and then that's open as a flap. What I have done to make it a little bit snugglier for him is I included a little fleece lining, so it's nice and warm when he puts his hand in there. So in total he's got one breast pocket there, and then he's got his hand warmers on each side. So this is nearly finished. I just need to sew on the buttons for him, and I'll show you the buttons I'm gonna attach. Nice brown, dark brown buttons, they go quite well with that. The buttonhole positioning was a little bit, I think they just kind of leave it up to you how you want to do them, in that on the instructions, I believe on the instructions, or the other way round, they show them vertically, but on the pattern envelope, it is horizontal. So I decided to go vertically with this because I know in the past when I'm sewing on a bulky fabric, trying to do buttonholes, my machine, as soon as it feels anything a little bit too thick, it stops and it messes up the whole buttonhole. So if it was going to be sewing that way, it would have come up there and that bulk probably would have caused it to stop. And I really didn't have the time to be doing hand sewn buttonholes, so I did them vertically. And I tested it beforehand on a scrap. The scrap was exactly the same thickness, so 2 layers of cord and a layer of fleece in there as well. And they came out really well. I always hold my breath when I do buttonholes on my machine because there's always a problem. It always, like, something happens, like the thread snaps halfway through, or I accidentally tap the little pulley lever, which tells it to then start going backwards again. And I only had that twice this time. So out of 5, that's not bad going, it's all right. So yeah, very pleased with that. It's actually quite an easy pattern to make if you weren't doing all this interlining business. It's fine. Another thing to mention about this jacket, if you are thinking of making it, on the pattern for the sleeve and for the front and back, I believe as well, there is a really important circle mark that you have to make sure you mark onto your fabric, because that is a pivot point. The sleeve insertion is done a little bit differently to usual, so you don't just insert the sleeve and then sew it, or you do insert it on the flat, but then the way you sew up the sleeve and the side is different, so just pay attention to that. The reason they did it differently, I believe, reading on the internet, was that when they first did it, they had like a normal sleeve insertion, I think, and it caused like a sort of puckering detail there, which didn't look so good. So they redid the pattern, changed the instructions slightly, so it's nice and smooth, because there is quite a lot of bulk there. So that's the jacket. So by the time this video goes out, I will have put buttons on it and I will have given it to my husband, and hopefully he will be happy with it. I have, like I said, got him to try it on and he was very happy with how it felt. He didn't know what it was exactly, but he said he liked it, so that was good. He said it felt comfortable. Okay, so what else have I been up to? So a couple of weekends ago, I went along to a meetup with Surrey Sews. We all went along to Goldhawk Road. A really lovely afternoon. We met up well, some people met in the morning and then stopped midday for lunch. I couldn't make the morning bit, so I just met for lunch and then did the afternoon. If you don't know what Goldhawk Road is, it's in London, in West London, near Shepherd's Bush, and it is a street lined with fabric shops. Lovely fabric shops, sort of like Aladdin's Cave kind of fabric shops. All kinds of fabric that you could ever possibly want for garment sewing. No upholstery fabrics, I don't think, anyway. There's also a little market towards the end of the road where the railway bridge is, where they sell a few notions. Not entirely notions, it's lots of sort of homeware things like pots and pans, but there are a couple of notion stalls there. So I met up with them at lunchtime, as I said, and we had a nice wander down, and I did buy fabrics. I have been saying for a while I wanted to use up some of the fabrics that I've got in my stash already. that is not all I have. I also have a little basket in the corner. So I had wanted to use up a few more of those before I bought any fabrics, but I did buy some fabrics. So I will try and show you. Sorry, Etty's decided once again she wants to be part of the video. There you go. Okay, so first of all, I bought this lovely viscose twill, and it is a remnant, and the shop is called Misan. So on the bottom floor, the ground floor as you go in, they have got beautiful fabrics which tend to be on the pricier side, you know, like £20 a metre, around there. But if you go upstairs, they have remnants and they hang them all up around the room. I think it's done sort of by colour scheme. So I got this lovely pink, green, it's looking blue, but that is green, pink and green and sort of beige speckles on it. And there was about 2.5 metres there. They marked it as 2.75, but what I didn't notice was that that last 25 centimetres had quite a big gash in it, so it's actually 2.5 metres, but I can make something nice out of that for sure. So really pleased with that, and that was, I think it cost me £16 for 2.5 metres, so pretty good price for that one. Next up was Tony's Fabrics, which, if you're interested, is on the same side of the road as Misan Fabrics, down towards the railway bridge. And one of the ladies that I went with, at lunchtime, she showed us this lovely cotton lawn fabric that she had bought, and I decided I wanted to get some. When I got there, I saw they also had it in a green colourway, so she bought it in the pinker colourway and I got the green, and it's so lovely. Such fun. It reminds me, my mum used to have a skirt like this made out of silk when I was younger, and I think it was like Paul Smith or something. This isn't silk, it's lovely cotton lawn, so it would probably need to be lined if I made a dress out of it. And I got 1.5 meters. So actually I probably wouldn't make a dress out of it. I think I had in mind the Donny shirt. I haven't made that up yet, but I thought that would be great for the summer. Lovely, lovely fabric. So that was £10 a metre. He originally said £12, I think, £12.50. But the other lady had managed to get it for £10 a metre. So when I went back in by myself, I said, oh, but you gave it to her for £10. She said, okay, I'll give it to you for 10. So that was great. So really pleased with that. From the same shop, I had genuinely been wanting to buy some pink cotton jersey, and in that shop they had some. So this is actually something I did want to get to make myself a nice basic long sleeve t-shirt. It looks pretty red in this light, but it's a lovely magenta pink colour. You can't really see it very well. But I got 1.5 meters of that as well, just to make myself a nice t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, so it's a good stretch on there. So love that. Those have all been washed and they are ready to go. So hopefully sometime soon I will get the chance to make something up with those. Another shop I wanted to mention that we went into was Aurea Textiles. Now they do sell online. I've noticed their website is a little bit clunky when I've tried to buy online before. It's quite slow to load up. But they had a beautiful brocade fabric, and I will try and insert a picture here. He was the loveliest salesperson ever. He was really genuinely friendly, not being pushy at all like some of them are, just very, very friendly. Originally, he said it was £20 a metre. He said actually on the website it's 22, but in store I'll do it for 20. And I ummed and ahed over it and really, really liked it. But in the end, I just couldn't think what I would make with it, and even what I would make, would I wear? It's quite formal for the kind of things that I would make. You could make a beautiful jacket or even a lovely dress out of it, but I just wouldn't wear that. And I ummed and ahed about it for so long. He said, oh, I'll do it for 15 for you then. And I felt bad, but I just couldn't justify having another fabric in my stash that, yes, I love, but I just know I'm not going to use it. So shout out to Aurea Textiles. I will put the spelling up here. As I said, they do have online as well. So those are the fabrics that I bought at Goldhawk Road. So I did slip a little bit and break my fabric band there, but they were lovely fabrics. And it's such a long way for me to get there. It's about 2 hours to get there by public transport. And there was a train strike. I thought, I've got to justify my visit. I will get something. Right, so that's fabric. Now, what else I have been making? I have mentioned in previous vlogs that I've made some gifts for Christmas. So I will insert the photos because I don't have them with me anymore. They have now been posted off to Scotland. For my sister, I made her a shoulder bag, which can be used as a mobile phone bag. I included a little popper, so it'd be a little bit safer, and it's got a zip on the front. I didn't make it adjustable, just the one length. She is type 1 diabetic, and when she gets her pump fitted next year, she said she wanted something like that to carry around all of her bits and pieces that she will need for her pump. So again, I will insert a photo for you. So that has gone off, and I loved making that bag. I used a tutorial from Tender Smile Handmade. I did enjoy the tutorial, but what I did find frustrating, if you ever go to Tender Smile on YouTube to find their tutorials, is they don't show you at the start exactly what you need for the project. They show you what you need initially. So yeah, cutting out all of your supplies, you think you've got everything. And then when they get to the next step, they then suddenly introduced, right, you now need to cut out this piece of fabric and this piece of interfacing, which I would have liked to have just done all at the start. So I always do all my cutting out first, and then you can just bash out the project and you're done with it. So that was one thing, but I did enjoy how it came together and the instructions were very clear. The next thing I made was for my niece. So I've mentioned before that she wanted me to make her up a tote bag with Miffy the rabbit on it. So in the end, I opted for doing an applique. So I did an F for her first name on the front, and then I did a heart on the back, and I made just a calico tote, did all French seams inside so it's nice and secure, with a little box, what do you call it? You know, it's sort of a box bottom to the bag so it can sit if she's got lots of things in it as well. So those have been posted up to her. I also made some little lavender bags just for little presents to go in sock drawers. Easiest thing ever. I had intended for my children to help me with those, but they weren't very interested in doing that. So I just cut out 2 squares, sewed them up, left a little gap, and then filled them with lavender, which my daughter did actually help me do. We made a nice little funnel out of paper and she was spooning in all of the lavender, and then we just sewed it up afterwards. So I made some of those as well, and hopefully I'll remember to add a photo of that. So that is everything, I think, that I have been working on. So when this video goes out, Christmas will have been and gone, and we will hopefully be in that nice in-between time between Christmas and New Year, where we're just hopefully relaxing, recovering from the chaos of doing who knows what for Christmas. So I hope if you do celebrate Christmas, you've had a lovely time with your friends and family, that you are well. Wherever you are, I hope you are okay. Do let me know your comments, your thoughts below. What have you been doing over Christmas? Did you make anything in particular for anybody? I would love to know what you did, how adventurous we all are with our making, what we commit to do for gifts for people. So I will see you again soon, I hope. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. That would be wonderful to have more people subscribed. And take care. Happy sewing. Bye.